Hey guys, welcome to Cars and Health Bars. On today's episode, we're going to be getting you all caught up on where we've been the past 2 weeks, and also we're going to be getting into some interesting things on the gaming side. With that being said, let's get right into it. So, Jordan, we've been out for the past 2 weeks. The first week was just kind of bad timing, but the second week, you were actually on a little bit of a trip, huh?
I had a mini vacation.
A minication. So, you want to kind of tell the viewer and myself a little bit about your trip? Because I don't know, what went down.
So, I got to work Wednesday and I'm doing my thing. I had this job to finish up. I can't even remember what it was now. It was, I got done with this transmission job and I had to do something after it. I can't remember. And I got done with whatever it was and I was like, it's lunchtime. Change out my clothes. I get my rental car and I get the address and I get a check for $200. I cashed it out. I just used my card. I don't want to keep the cash.
Yeah.
I drove to Atlanta and the traffic was so bad. It went to a standstill like 3 times from Chattanooga to Atlanta. It took me like
God.
6 hours to get there.
Oh my God.
I was the person who drove the furthest for that class.
So Ford sent you on a trip to go get more training at I guess like a home facility that they have.
It's just like in the office. Like they gotta
Oh,
live. If you like a Ranger F-150 and they had like another class going on and it was hybrids. So they had a hybrid on lift in there.
okay.
But mine was noise, vibration, harshness.
Okay.
It was a pretty easy class. I already was pretty familiar with that, like drivability concerns.
Are they gonna? Is this gonna change like your pay there? Or, what's
Not
this gonna
yet,
do for you?
but there are more, so I can become a chassis master after doing brakes and suspension. So once I do that, I'm asking for a raise because I'm already good at all that. I'm just gonna knock these classes out.
Yeah. They like you
It's
said
not
they
like
pay
I'm
for the
not
whole
trying to
trip.
say like I'm an expert, but I've diagnosed suspension problems a lot. They're relatively easy for me.
Yeah. How long were you down there for?
I left Wednesday for half a day and I was there till Friday.
Oh, so not that bad.
No, it was just 2 days of class and I got there that Wednesday. But funny enough, when I got there at the hotel, I told them my reservation and they was like, okay, we need someone to get sent an email to authorize using the credit card. I was like, I thought this was paid for, so it's kind of weird. So I called my boss and he didn't answer, but eventually he called me back and we talked. I had him on the phone talking to this dude and finally get my room. I go back to the car to get my luggage. I locked the key in the car.
Oh my God.
So homeboy had to pay $100
For
to
a
get a
locksmith to
locksmith.
come.
And
Oh my God.
I dagged his car in the parking lot.
Oh my God. What was wrong with his car?
He had a EGR cooler issue.
Jeez. Did he knock any off for you looking at his car?
It was the minimum fee is what I got charged. So I don't
Oh,
know if he did or not.
dang. That's awesome. How bad was like everything at Atlanta? I hear it's like just so many people there. It's like insane.
There wasn't a lot of people. The people in the hotel were pretty friendly though, because when I was leaving for the test that morning, they just like, I guess they knew I worked at Ford. I don't know how, but
Mm-hmm.
they was like, he's got a test today.
Aha.
They was all like, they was like, how you feel about it? I was like, I'm about to ace this shit. And they was like, I can't remember. I was like, this easy for me. I got it.
Yeah.
And it was an open note test, so I feel like you had to be pretty dumb to fail it.
Was you the only one there from your facility, your Ford
Well,
dealer?
there was 2 other people in the hybrid class, but they didn't. We weren't in the same room or nothing.
But were they from like the Bowling Green Ford
Yeah, they were
also?
from where I worked.
Oh, cool.
It was Isaac and Anthony.
So do you have to did they send you down there or did you choose to go down there?
I just told my boss, I was like, hey, I need to go to this. And he found me an opening like 2 weeks later. So
It kind of seems sporadic. Like you just texted me out of nowhere, like, "Hey, I'm on my way to Atlanta." I'm like, "What? Did you find a deal on like engine or something? Like, how am I gonna go pick LSA up for like $800?"
if I see a LSA in Atlanta for $800, I'm driving.
I guess,
No doubt.
I guess that's the thing about being friends with car guys. Like your buddy says he's on his way like somewhere wild. You just imagine he
You're
went
just
and
putting
found something on Marketplace.
nah, what you do is like, oh, you're going to Atlanta? So I'll change my location to Atlanta Marketplace and be like, hey, pick me this up.
Yeah, while you're down there,
Yeah, while you're down there, get this.
you don't happen to have a trailer, do you?
You gotta haul out a project.
I know it's kind of off topic, but I'm a big foodie. I'm wondering if you ate anywhere, not anywhere down there that was kind of cool. I know
Oh,
Atlanta's
definitely
kind of
not.
a big food town.
I was in Marietta, so it's like right outside of Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
But it was still really busy. It was big roads. It was right next to a college, pretty much. There were like
Oh.
a bunch of cheerleaders all around my room, on the floor I was on and the floor below me, dude. It
If
was
only
like
you drove the car.
they were loud when I'm
But
had a kid.
you didn't eat nowhere special?
Applebee's.
Oh my God. You went to Atlanta, Georgia and ate at Applebee's? Luke Foods would be so disappointed in you.
I had to eat.
God,
It
I'd be
was
going
right
like
next
somewhere
to the hotel.
cool.
I literally walked to it.
You got to go somewhere
I
cool when
literally
you're out and
walked.
about.
I walked 50 steps and I was in an Applebee's.
Oh my God.
It was that easy.
Homie could have got turned up and wouldn't even have to worry about getting a DUI.
I got a beer.
Nice. Oh, oh man, that's hilarious. Yeah, man, I'm such a foodie. Anywhere I go, like I would go to the mountains honestly just to eat at cool places.
I really didn't have the time to do that.
I get that.
And, it was just like, do I want to spend money on that? Like, I barely ate it all. I had
Oh,
Taco
so you
Bell
were
and
on a budget.
Applebee's. I'm trying to keep all that 200 I can get, buddy.
They gave you 200 for the whole trip?
Yeah. With the
Dude,
room
fuel
paid
and
for.
everything?
And they reimbursed me on the check for fuel.
Oh, I was gonna say, dang,
It was out
$200.
of my
Man,
pocket to begin with because I
I was
didn't
gonna
pay with
say
the cash. But
fuel would be a good chunk of that $200 if you had. So you were given 200 for like food.
food, gas, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, it sounded like you had a pretty good trip. I mean, did anything else exciting happen during your trip?
This one guy works at Von Gitten's other drivers dealership. They do RTR stuff. And he had a pretty
Yeah.
cool new edge. He was out there in his cammed, but it was 4.6.
Nice.
And he had just blew the diff out because he was dragging it on stock diff.
God.
They're known to be not the best when you
Yeah.
like track them. So it was pretty cool. That's about all though.
Yeah. I guess I kind of want to move on, while we're talking about working at Ford and everything, what kind of got me thinking about it was, I was talking to my grandfather, he's a older gearhead. And I was like, yeah, it kind of shock you, but we were talking about how complicated it is to work on stuff nowadays because everything's so tight. Like the engine bay is so like, just like so compact with everything. It's so hard to work on stuff. And I was like, actually, at the Ford dealership, all they do is, it's like 6 bolts holding that cab on. And they put the lift on the cab and lift the whole thing up. And he's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, you pretty much have access to pretty much everything after you do that.
Yeah, it's easy. You got to disconnect brake cable, shift cable,
Harness, yeah.
steering shaft. And then, the bolts don't always come out easy. They can be rusted or just gone to shit.
There's always the best way to know if you unhooked everything is to go ahead and lift her up.
Yes, sir. You'll find out.
I've
done it. I have found out.
My God.
I found out how much a shifter can support weight
Oh
wise.
my God.
And it can lift a whole C5 chassis
Oh my god.
apparently.
That is horrible that you know that.
You gotta find out sometimes. You don't. You know, I was self-taught. You just find out.
Life is all about trial and error.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm not even mad that I'm having to do all these brakes on a third gen and the wheel bearing and everything because I'm learning. Like, I would have never knew how to do any of this if it hadn't happened to me because I'm not going to go out of my way and go find a wheel bearing to change. Like,
You
it's
know what
kind of
that
cool.
is?
Huh?
It's called being poor.
Being poor. You're not wrong. that was me because I mean, the wheel bearings weren't expensive. It's like $30 a side for each set. The
Yeah.
driver's side, I was like, you know what? This driver's side looks really good. There's still like a bunch of grease packed in them. The grease didn't look bad. I was like, I'm reusing these, and I get to the passenger side, and there wasn't a dang drop. There
Yeah.
wasn't no grease at
It's
all. I was like,
always like that.
oh. I thought I was gonna luck out and get both sides done without having to buy bearings, but oh well. I learned.
Hey, that ain't too bad.
No,
Because I had to buy all of them on my C10.
yeah, I was shocked too because that, according to what the car looks like, that side was serviced more recent than the other side because it had a drilled rotor. The driver's side had a like a
Yeah.
solid rotor, and it had like way more wear. The passenger side was like a fairly new rotor, and man,
Oh,
it just like it's like they did the bearings. I just don't know what caused that to fail. It's just so strange that side looks like it was serviced more recently. I don't know. Maybe somebody just didn't grease the bearings. I mean, is that possible? Surely you wouldn't be that
nah.
dumb.
Nah, no one's going to do that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a grease now.
Surely
That's all
no
I
one
know.
would. I mean, maybe a kid would, like, who didn't know
You
any
know,
better.
I'm now that I'm thinking about that bearing did back out of the hub and push itself onto the spindle. I wonder if they forgot to put a seal on the back of it because I never did find one. That is possible because if it didn't have that seal, it's going to work its way out.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting. I bet that's what happened because I never did find the seal to it unless it shot the seal out first and broke it. Because I mean, all that seal is just thin piece of metal.
I mean, that's just you never going to know.
Yeah, never gonna know. Uh, but yeah, I kind of want to know if you learned anything you didn't know while you were down there in Atlanta whenever you were training. Because obviously you went down there to learn. If is it anything you hadn't seen before?
Yeah, there's definitely stuff I had. Like, because, you just go through all the basics of diagnosing vibrations, noise. And at Greenwood, we don't have, so there's different, it's a VCM. It's what links your computer to the car.
Uh huh.
And there's different ones. There's VCM 1, 2, 3, and VCMM. We got a VCM 3, all of us at Ford. And they were using the VCMM, which I think we might have one, but I've never used it. And the software you can use will show you a model of like your drivetrain.
Mm-hmm.
And while your engine's running and you're driving down the road, it'll sense vibrations and it'll tell you. But it's kind of hard to explain this part, but there's an order. It's like if you got a tire with a high spot, that's one order. But if you have two high spots, it's two order. Because if it does one full revolution, then there's like two offsets. Like two separate vibrations.
Mm-hmm.
It's on a graph, so it's kind of hard to explain, but it can diagnose all that. It can tell you if the engine, water pump, uh, harmonic balancer, wheels and tires, drive shaft out of balance, axle. And it tells you all kinds of stuff that could be, a vibration.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anything like that, so that was really cool.
So, you don't really I mean, you do train at Greenwood Ford, but it's not like as extensive as what you just went and done. I mean, that place you went was basically like more or less a school setting or like classroom
Yeah,
setting,
that was
correct? Yeah.
exactly a classroom. There's a
Okay.
teacher. Yeah,
That,
it's funny because the training at Ford really, there really wasn't. You just come in with your own skill set.
right, and learn from the other people there.
Because, like, if you start out as a tech, you just, like, yeah, there's like a So like every shop kind of does this that I know of, but there are shops where everyone does every type of work. But it seems like a lot of shops do this, and it's a good way of doing it. Really is to have a specialist. So like you have one guy who does a lot of transmission, one guy with a lot of electrical diag, a diesel guy, um, chassis guy, used car guy.
Yeah.
Everyone's got like a role kind of, but you still can do other things. It's just you got your gravy, what you're good at and what you want to get from the service riders. So I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, it is really nice that they do allow you to go down there and take the opportunity to learn and better yourself. Our place does offer that, but it's not necessarily like we offer classes where I'm at, but it might not coincide with what you do. Like, they offer like our whole department. We can go take a welding class. I don't weld, it's not my job, but they will pay me my hourly rate to go to that class. The only stipulation is if you like quit and within like 3 or 5 years, you'll have to pay the class back. But it's understandable. But it is nice for companies to allow you to go better yourself on their dime because it, like I said, they'll make you pay for it in 5 years. But that's just because it's man, I can't think of the word, but it helps both you and it's symbiotic. It helps you and
Yeah,
them because they're getting a better worker and you're bettering yourself whether you stay or leave.
that is pretty nice. I would take that welding class, honestly.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
mean,
why not? It's a skill you could pick up and at least have a good understanding of.
yeah, I
And
mean it's at Sky too, so it's like
knowledge is more valuable than anything.
it is. And like I said, you get to leave during work hours, go take this class, get paid for it. I mean, it's a win-win.
Yeah, I'd be hitting that up.
Yeah. They don't do them as much anymore, but they did do them back in the past. Luckily, I didn't take it because I did end up quitting for a little while. That would have sucked, but now that I
Yeah.
know I ain't going nowhere. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to get us caught up on the car stuff. There's been a few car events that I've missed. I mean, we both missed out on just
Oh,
because
I,
of
I
other
got
stuff
another
going on.
story, car
Oh,
story, kind of, if you
okay,
want.
go for it. Yeah, go for it.
I forgot, and then I just remembered all of a sudden. So I had a side job lined up as soon as I got back Saturday. So,
Uh huh.
I didn't have an off day.
Yeah.
I was working, and this dude has a 16 Camaro. He's from Nashville, and
Okay.
he's a friend of a friend. And, I meet him. Like, hey, what's up? I'm doing a starter in his car. Cam 16 Camaro built by RPP.
Yeah.
And made 525 wheel. It was like I didn't even know it was all this. I thought it was just a regular Camaro. So it was really cool. And anyways, he's went through like two starters, I guess. And I just kind of like over the phone, it was like, this is what you could do. This is what I would do.
Yeah.
And I just let him decide. It's his car. Um, he decided to kind of do what I said, but with a twist. He also wanted to add in a ground wire off his starter to the block. Well, I didn't really look into it. I just figured you could do that. You could add extra ground because
Mm.
ground is ground. It don't matter.
Yeah.
At least that's what I thought. I still haven't looked into it, but long story short, I got to take the header out. It's hard to get to the starter on 6 gen, and it all goes out real easy. So put the starter in, put the ground wire in, get the header back on,
Uh huh.
and we go to start it after I get everything together, and it's just like it's a dead battery. And he
Okay.
don't drive it a lot, so I'm like, okay, probably just needs a battery. Let's hook jump
Yeah.
box up. So hook jump box up. He's got a jump pack too. One of those like 2,000 amp hours.
Yeah.
Well, he hooks that onto the fuse box, and I hook the battery charger up, so I know we're getting good voltage. Same thing. All right, now we gotta figure something out. So,
Yeah.
uh, we swap the charger and jump, and then it does something.
Okay.
it The screen goes black. It like I can turn the fans on and stuff, but like my PC is dark. It's acting like it's dead. So I'm like, what do I do? Blow a fuse? Like, pop a fuse trying to jump this thing? So, check fuse box. Ignition relay's good. All ignition fuses are good. Finally, and the owner kind of told me, he's like, you think we blew uh, the one off the terminal, the fuse link? What is it called? Something fuse link. But it's like a 250 amp fuse and 300 amp fuse off. It's from the wire that goes to your starter and alternator.
Mm-hmm.
And long story short, we blew that because that ground wire was causing it to not want to start, I guess. It was like it's drawn voltage. So, long story short, I cut the wire. Starts right up after that, after bypassing the fuse link.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I learned you can't just add in a ground wire like that. And it's pretty funny because after all that, he goes and drives, and I accidentally cracked one of his spark plugs. We find out because he had a misfire. And I was like, I probably know what it is because I always did this pulling headers. I'd always hit the spark plug porcelain just lightly, and it'd crack.
Jeez.
So
God.
it was a long day. I mean,
I can imagine. Man, Diag just like, it can just be the worst sometimes. Like, you just never,
he
it
was
takes,
apologizing to me. I was like, you got nothing to apologize for. This is my fault. You know. So it was funny because I was like, I'm going to do the right thing here. I'm not going to Jew him or nothing.
yeah. I mean, man,
I,
Diag,
I offered
it's
him
kind
to
of,
pay me less, and he still paid me the full amount.
that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, I can understand where he comes from. Like, it does suck that, it is taking so long, but at the same time, Diag takes time, man.
Yeah, we got one guy who's been working at Ford since 1990, and he only does that. Like, he is straight god of cars. He's the only person I know smarter than Haney. And he's just been doing it for so long, man. And that's
Yeah,
what he
that's,
does. I don't know what he makes because he's really slow. So, like, right, flat rate, if you're not getting paid hourly, it's almost like when you're doing only diags, like extreme ones that take a few hours to figure out at least.
yeah.
And so I think he might be getting salary or something. It's not my business, though, but that's where it gets crazy with pay and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. It gets hard to slip into stuff like that because I feel like a lot of those older guys that are making like way more money than us, they definitely they're good to have around, but sometimes, man, it's just like they do so little and it's so noticeable. And it's like, dang, I'm out here like busting my everything trying to prove myself, making way less than you. I don't
See,
know.
see,
I
it's
go
the
back and
exact
forth.
opposite at Ford. The old
Really?
guys, they got the work ethic, man. Any of the guys who are still doing this, like, they are great examples of what you should try to be like.
I don't know. That's the few places I've worked. It's just like there's been like one or two guys there that are like, they're making way more money than you, and they just have the worst attitude ever. It's like, yeah, I might. Now, there might be days where I got stuff going on in my personal life, but I do my apps, and I think I do a good job of it. Is like just bringing in a positive attitude because I ain't none of us want to be at work. Like I'd rather be home, but you got to make the most of it at work.
Oh yeah,
Just
that's
brings the whole
Ford,
morale
and that's what
down.
I like about Ford, man. Everyone is like, there really ain't no one there that's got a bad attitude.
Yeah,
Things can be better, and we're always going to gripe about something, but
right.
it ain't. It's a great work environment.
For sure, man. I guess with that being said, we can just go ahead and push on over into our gaming topic. And with that, I kind of want to talk about, man, I kind of want to talk about Apex, and I also want to talk about Xdefiant because I did play Xdefiant a little bit while it was on a early access, and I just want to say my socks were not knocked off. I did not see it as a COD killer, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know if I would consider it COD killer just COD is kind of killing itself more than that's killing COD.
COD had assisted suicide.
And
uh,
Xdefiant seems like a good game, but I don't think it's like Call of Duty just reaches out to so many people, it seems. And I don't think any other game can replicate that.
yeah, it just and also it just seems so like yeah, it was supposed to feel like an arcade shooter, but it felt like overly cartoony. Like it kind of felt like I was playing Overwatch. Like
Yeah,
I've never
it
played
is kind of
Overwatch,
like
but
that.
just like man, I don't know. I didn't hate it. Like my coworker and I, we were talking about it. He played quite a bit of it. He almost maxed out in the game, and he he don't play games just to play them. He plays games to give him a fair shake, and I kind of get that. But in his opinion, it it was okay. If it was anything, I in his words, I think it would be okay if it was $20. But if it costed anything at all, he would not buy it, and that was just
Damn.
his opinion. I would say if it was like a $20 game, 19.99, I'd buy it. But if it was a $50 game, I no, there ain't no
Yeah,
way.
I
I
agree
just
with
couldn't
that.
do it.
I probably wouldn't buy it either from the gameplay I've seen. And that's not to say it's a bad game, but I
It's
got
just
shooter
not.
games. I'd rather play
Yeah.
Battlefield.
And you can argue the same thing with Call of Duty. I mean, Call of Duty has been garbage, and we're still giving them $60, $70 every year. But I'm proud to say I'm not on that bandwagon. I didn't get the
I'm
last
not either.
COD, and if they keep releasing terrible games, I'm not going to give them my $70.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing.
I used to die on the hill of I haven't missed a Call of Duty since like I don't
Yeah,
even
I
know
used to
when.
be like that too. I was like, I pre-ordered every COD. Like, what's it matter?
Yeah,
It don't fucking matter.
like if they're gonna neglect how they feel about their player base and change their game and not pay attention to us, like why? It's like a toxic relationship. You just keep running back to them, expecting things to change, but you end up just getting
Yeah.
the same thing over and over again.
What are
Like
you gonna do? What do you expect?
I feel like I need to find like a instead of having a women's shelter, I need to go to like a gamer's shelter. That's Battlefield. Battlefield
Help
is the
me.
abused gamer shelter for Call of Duty. I feel like it's that way too because used to. I mean, we've talked about it before, but Call of Duty in a way, you had your COD guys and you had your Battlefield guys. Like there wasn't much, interchanging on that. I mean, there was a few standouts, but now it's just like everybody's migrated to Battlefield. Like Call of Duty players, everybody. It's man, I don't know. Battlefield wasn't great. I'll say that it was pretty terrible out the gate, but at least they get better over time. COD, it's just
Yeah,
like they give you a terrible game. They're like, all right, well, we'll try again next year, I guess.
for sure. I agree. Um, I don't know. Battlefield 2042 is still lower tier, but it's a good game. I can always hop on it and have fun.
I think I would rather play Xdefiant than COD. I mean, I guess in that regard, it is a COD killer. But if COD comes out with one good game, I mean, I'm gone. But the chances of that happening. But on the other side of the coin, I would definitely play Battlefield over Xdefiant every day of the week. I mean, it's
Yeah, I might play Pixel Strike 3D over
oh my god.
it.
It- I don't know, man. It's just I feel like a lot of people are just burned because the hype was so insane around that game, and for it to kind of flop like this, it's I don't know. It's kind of embarrassing for him, really.
Yeah, I'll kind of say, yeah, I remember when it came out. It was like, oh my god, everyone like blew it up. It's a COD killer. And here it is, and I'm not seeing nothing about it now.
Yeah, if it had just kind of marketed itself better as like just not advertising itself to be a direct competitor with COD, I feel like it would have done much much better. Like if they had just released themselves as like a first person shooter indie game or small company game, I feel like it would have gotten a lot better of a response because it advertising itself as I mean Call of Duty it's like Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson like for an example. You're talking about the dang heavyweight that's been making games since like before we were like playing, going against this small company that just put out a random game. Like it just they pick too big of boots to fill. I feel like
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of funny because they're trying to be like what they're trying to kill in a way almost.
yeah. I mean, I didn't really have much to say about that. I guess we can move over to Apex, and we did talk about doing a tier list, so you could probably look forward to that in the future. But we just kind of want to talk about Apex as a whole, and it's I would say it's still fairly relevant of a game too. I mean, they still do get solid updates.
Yeah, they're
Their
always adding
seasons
in
like
something, and there's constantly changes to weapons, and some people don't like that, and I can kind of get that because they do kind of take things like the wingman and make it super hard for you to get. It used to be pickup, and it's like, wow, now I can't even get it off drop.
yeah,
I gotta wait for a care package. And
I
I'll
do
tell you
really.
what, when there's a care package with a wingman, I guarantee you there's gonna be some fighting.
I like how they changed it up every season. Like the guns that were dropped on the ground and guns that were
Yeah.
exclusive to drops. Like it made it more interesting.
And every season there's different maps. Goes into a different rotation.
Yeah, I can see how people wouldn't like that because if you were going through like if it was one map you had like really 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 didn't like, you kind of had to wait
Oh
for
yeah.
a while for it to be out of the rotation.
The OG map, I love it, but I hate it because man, it's just like slugfest. It's like dropping in tilted towers, dog. Like it's just straight fighting all the time, and I don't mind that because it really makes you a better player. But it can be annoying when your teammate, you're solo queuing and your teammate ready for that fight.
Yeah.
I'm not the
Well,
best at 1v3 and or 1v2 and for that matter. So
yeah, and you also hate it whenever like you said, you're solo queue, you're not jump master, and he just puts you in the god awfulest
oh yeah,
spot.
that's just RIP, homie. That's
Like,
kind of the funniest things about Apex though is the community because you got people like Gunner and he just accepts that he's bad and he will be dropping you in the worst spots.
let's jump late at a building where somebody just dropped. Like we just saw a squad jump here. Let's
They
go
got
jump
the
there too.
advantage. They
Yeah.
already looted. Let's go ahead and land right on them.
Let's go. Let's take our chances with the fist fights.
Yeah, like I want to be in a fist fight when there's weapons on the ground. I'm gonna run for the nearest gun, and if you go down, you better not yell my name.
Those are those games where it's like you're not even like you're still in the sky and there's already been first blood because something like that
Yeah.
happened.
It's always first blood happens before I drop because I always drop later.
Jesus. That game is just like so fun. It's funny too whenever you go through like so many matches where you're dying like right off the rip. It's
Uh-huh.
like, what am I doing wrong? Like there's so many things that can go wrong. It's just really hard to tack down what's going wrong because so many things can go wrong on that game.
That game is just fast paced, man.
That's what keeps it interesting too. It's just it's really unique. I mean, there are of course there's a lot of battle royale games right now.
There's a lot
Fortnite.
of hero games too, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
that too.
It's
Apex just
just
feels different.
yeah, it feels. I guess the lore kind of helps too, because like right, it kind of ties into Titanfall a little bit.
I
So
know
like
you
it's
ain't
got
about to
it
talk
feel
about how the
so
characters have stories.
yeah. So it's like it's got a solid. Like you don't feel like a random person, like
I
Call of
thought you were
Duty.
very anti that because
I don't like it on Battlefield. I hate
yes,
it on
Battlefield.
Battlefield
Like,
because
why-
they don't feel like it's a different type of game.
you're like, why does this character have a whole story? Like, I remember you going on a whole rant about that.
Yeah, there's no campaign, but I'm supposed to like this dude. Like I don't know shit. What do I know? Oh, his daughter got fucking Taliban. She got Alu Akbar. I don't know, but he hints towards it sometimes. And I'm supposed to just be like, oh yeah, typical PTSD.
Oh my god.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like it, and it's just confusing in Battlefield. I wish it was just Russians versus Americans.
Yeah, yeah. No, there's like whole like paragraphs. Each character has such a complex I don't know if it's complex or not because I never sat down and read it because I'm like you. I'm like it does not make me feel any more connected to this specialist. Like I
It's
just
like
don't
when
care.
you watch the new Star Wars and it's got some overly like feminist shit in it that I'm like, why is this here? I liked it until this was here.
Oh my god. Uh,
Thinking of Sundance, man. She's just the most cringe character saying, I got this squad, like some bullshit. Cracks me up. Because it's just like, who are you?
I don't. Some of the call outs just irritate me off of 2042. Like I
Yeah.
play a lot as the medic. It no God what I don't even remember her name anymore. It's been so
Yeah.
long.
I know what you're
Uh,
talking about.
but like she'll like holler out like I got you. I'm like no I don't. I'm not even gonna try. I ain't
See,
arriving you.
you know what's funny is that worked really good in Battlefield 1 because you were just another fucking soldier. Just
Yeah
like I'm saying would work good. And everyone loved the way Battlefield 1 felt. It didn't matter if you liked the gameplay or not, it felt like you were immersed.
yeah
And 2042 can't do that.
yeah. You're right. I mean it's like you said. You should not have to be a special soldier in every game you play. Like I just feel better if I'm just a number.
That's what I liked about older Call of Duties, like
Yeah.
the old ones, Medal of Honor.
I would say the only battle or the only Call of Duty that I liked that had specialist was Battlefield or Black Ops 3 because it was just new. It was every
Yeah.
single one of them was so diverse. Like the gravity spikes, like God, it just felt awesome. But after that, man, it's like they were trying too hard. They're trying too hard to make it feel like Black Ops 3.
Yeah.
I feel like COD does that a lot. They try to copy a formula that works so well in another game, and they just mess it up so bad every time. It just gets worse and worse.
It's funny because Black Ops 3 came out later, but it was Treyarch's first. And they didn't go back to it ever. They just did one. They didn't do about Black Ops 4 didn't have the movement.
Yeah,
So, they did it once and left it at that.
I
And
don't.
it's kind of like Apex. It's done its thing and it's always been different. It's not PUBG.
That's
It's
one
not
thing,
it's
man.
not Warzone. It's easy to identify. It's Apex.
And that's what's nice about Apex is they, obviously it's a free game. It's got DLCs in it. It's got microtransactions, but they haven't tried to make another game yet, and I respect that so much. Like they realize that they have a good thing going for them with this game, and they haven't pushed on to another game, and I respect that a lot because I
You
feel
know
like
what? They
that's
they don't push microtransaction a whole lot either.
nope. If you want the season pass, I mean, you get all the stuff. You can't. I wouldn't consider a season. I mean, it is technically a microtransaction, but like every game has, it's almost like a standard now to have
But they
some
don't
sort
have
of seasons.
DLC or nothing. So,
Right. You're not
if
missing
that's
out
how
on
they want to
nothing
make their money for continuing to support the game, I'm
on a
fine with
free
that.
game too.
Yeah, like that's how they continue to support it after the release because they ain't making money just after the game's been released. Everyone's bought it. If they want
I
to keep updating it for years, when did it even come out?
it can't. Man, that game's been out for a minute.
2019,
Really?
2020,
No, I figured it was out longer than that. Let's see, Apex.
19,
Wow.
February 4th, 2019.
Okay, so yeah, the beginning of 2019. It seems like it's been out a lot longer than that, but
It
that's
came
still
out
four
after
years.
PUBG.
Or sorry, that's 5 years. That's
Yeah,
still pretty good. I mean, that's a good haul for a
for a
game
free
that
game.
hasn't moved on yet. Like, haven't even made two. I mean, I really respect that. Fortnite and Apex the same way too. Or sorry, PUBG. They haven't made a second game, and I really appreciate that because that's the biggest problem with these COD and Battlefield is they have a really good game and then they move on every year. COD is the
Yeah,
worst. It's like the farther COD gets in making games, the worse they're getting.
it seems like it worked good back in the day. I don't know why that has changed. 'Cause,
Vonderhaar left.
COD 4 to MW 3, I'd have bought every one of those 2 times over.
2 times over, yeah.
Black Ops 1 to 3, I'd have
Yep.
done the same thing.
Yep. I'd paid monthly to play Black Ops 2, dude.
God, that was just a different time.
Was.
Plutonium will always carry the best.
Yeah. But yeah,
It
guys, that's what you got.
it just don't feel the same though.
No, I don't know, man. I don't. It just was a different time. It was a different day and age. You know,
They
if
were
we
built
all
different back then.
if we all hopped on GTA 4 and just took motorcycles up those little airstrip jumps, it
Huh.
just still wouldn't feel the same. It's just times are different now.
That's how it is.
It's nostalgic.
But there's still
It's
good times now.
yeah. You're right. You gotta make new good times.
Yeah. Because what are you gonna do when you're really old, huh?
Nothing.
You're gonna be there like,
Nothing.
damn, I didn't do shit in my late 20s, like my 30s.
And time is not gonna
Nah,
stop for you.
that don't mean you can't get drunk with old Jumbo Willie Bob. Nah.
Good God. Make bad decisions.
That don't mean you can't do cool car stuff.
Or listen to the trader.
That's right, every morning.
2-7 more.
I hear it every morning.
I listened to it the other day. I was like, golly.
Give
It's
him
so good.
Dean's number.
Yeah.
Give it to him.
But anyways, guys, that's all we have for you. Just wanted to kind of get you caught up on the week. Be expecting some cool stuff. We're going to get back into it and hit it hard. And I guess with that being said, guys, I'll throw it to outro and we'll catch you guys in the next one. I want to thank you guys for watching the episode. If you enjoyed the episode as much as we did, hop on over to our social media. We do a lot on there, especially our TikTok, and you can kind of get an idea of what we're talking about next week. And with that being said, guys, we will catch you in the next one.